Hi boys and girls, how's it going? It's been a while since I've done a hair vid now. You can see my hair's getting a bit longer. I've got some big news. Those that are members of my Facebook group, I've already said this, but I'm going back for my second hair transplant. My first one was in 2018, December 2018. And so yeah, it's been over 3 years now, and I decided it's time to go back for a second one. So a lot of you are saying, why do I actually need a second one? Because my hair's pretty long. As you can see, I've just kind of let it grow on top. I've shaved it on the sides, both sides, because my hair bushes out otherwise, so it kind of goes flatter. If I shave the sides, I'll shave it at the back all the way up to the top, but yeah, it's pretty long now. So why do I need a second one? Basically to top up the crown, because it's long at the moment, so I normally have it sort of tied up so you can't see the crown because it's tied back. But the crown is sort of a bit thinner. I knew it was going to need doing a second time, so I was supposed to have got it done just before COVID hit, and then that hit and it sort of put brakes on everything and it was cancelled. But I'm looking forward to it. Am I nervous? Yeah, a little bit. I think if you've got any sort of procedure, if you're not nervous, you know, you'd be mad. It's a bit nerve-wracking, but you know, it's worth it. That's my only regret, that I didn't do it sooner. This is about 18 months worth of growth to 2 years on top. Obviously the sides are shaved. I was going to cut it tonight actually, because before I go for my hair transplant, I want obviously to cut it, because if it's this long, they're not going to see what parts need doing, and I'm going to have it shaved basically when I have my hair done. At the moment I'm still really happy with it. It's just been letting it grow because I like sort of funky hairstyles. I like looking sort of a bit different, but yeah, I'm really pleased with it. So yeah, I'm going back to the same place that I went before, so that's Dr Cinik at the Cinik clinic in Istanbul. This time it will be in a different location because they've changed hospitals now. I think they're now in the centre of Istanbul, and I've heard a lot of good reports on the new hospital, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. So I've got some questions and answers. I'm actually a bit prepared this time. Right, these are ones that people ask about. It comes up quite a lot. I'm just reading from my phone here. How are the hair transplant places in Turkey? Are they better than UK? That's a bit controversial. Depends where you go, I guess. One thing that a lot of us find is the Turkish clinics are a lot cheaper, but some of the English ones are catching up now a little bit. They're getting a little bit cheaper. I still feel that the Turkish clinic, especially the one I'm going to, that, you know, they do these hair transplants day in, day out, so they're used to them, you know, it's like second nature to them. So I feel confident going to them because they're so experienced, and they offer it for a great price. I mean, a lot of people, even with the flights and everything else, it still works out a heck of a lot cheaper than what it does in other places. How are the doctors? My doctor was great. Spoke to him. They consulted about what hairline. One thing I would say is take a photo of how you used to look before you were balding. This helps the doctor understand what your hair was like, what direction it goes in, that kind of thing. Luckily I had a photo on my phone of me from years ago, so that helped. But there's things like Trustpilot. There's a website called Real Self. You can read reviews on that for places you're thinking of going to. Yep, so the next question, which services are included? So I can't promise I can answer all these questions because, you know, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. I don't claim to be a medical professional or anything like that. I'm just someone who's had a hair transplant in Turkey. So the services I had was, you pay for your flights. When you get out there, it comes as a package, the hair transplant. So you'll get your hair transplant, you'll get the hotel, which will be maybe 2 or 3 nights. If you want to have extra nights, I think you can pay extra if you want that, to do some sightseeing or whatever. You also get your taxi from the airport to the hotel to the hospital, then the hospital after the hair transplant back to the hotel, and then obviously the hotel back to the airport. Just be careful when you come out of having your hair done, because your head will be numb. A lot of people get into the taxi and bang their heads. This happens a heck of a lot. So just be careful when you're getting into the taxi, you don't bang your head, because it will be quite numb. And also on the plane, I stood up and smacked my head. It's easier to do than you think. What information do the clinics need before approving your hair transplant? So obviously if you take certain medications, they will need to know about that. They do a blood test before your hair transplant. I think they test for HIV, for hepatitis, things like that. When I'm having it done, I'm going to try and film as much as possible to give you guys a good overview of what it's like from the airport all the way there, the taxi, the hotel, everything. I want to film as much as possible to give you a really good overview. Yeah, so before you go, the way that they do it is you send photos of yourself, your hair, different angles, top, back, sides, everything. It's easier these days, you know, with selfies on your mobile phone, or you can get someone else to take them for you. So you send them off, they'll give you a quote of what they think is best for your hair and a rough estimate of how many grafts they think they'll use. And just be aware, more grafts doesn't equal a better hair transplant. It has to be done on the individual. How many grafts you need and how well they're placed, and singles at the front so you don't have a pluggy sort of look, just things like that. So they'll come back to you with a rough estimate. When you actually get out there, then when they see you in person, they can give you a better estimate of what they're going to do. They can discuss it with you, where you want your hairline. Just be aware that, you know, when you got your frown lines, when you go like that, you don't want your hair down here, because it will move when you're talking, and it, you know, if you were talking, your eyebrows were constantly going like that, it wouldn't look right. And it's like your hair, you don't want it going up and down. How old am I? I'm 47. Turned 47 a few weeks ago. Well, I had my first one in December 2018, so I was a lot older than quite a few people when they have their hair transplants. I regret leaving it for so long, but in some ways it's good, because, you know, my hair's had a chance to stabilise a bit. Hopefully it's not balding. It's coming out quite a lot at the moment. I'm been pretty stressed with different things. So yeah, your hair does come out. The average person loses like 50 to 100 hairs a day anyway, which hopefully will grow back. Got so much more hair now than what I did before. I was really receded back, and I had a really bad bald patch before, and I was kind of balding on top. Different hair, it can look different in different lights. So you want, I'm under quite a bright light now. I've got my computer monitor right here, quite a big monitor right. So it's pretty bright in here at the moment, and it's sort of like light coloured wool, so it shows up quite well, I think. But yeah, different lighting. If I had a really bright sort of fluorescent light looking right down, I took a photo on top, you'd see through a little bit. Not so much now because the hair's long, but if I cut my hair, you can see through a bit. That's why I want the top up, so to get it done. There are some people, you know, if you're really bald, they'll just say no. They don't want to sort of get your expectations up, and that's a very important point. You've got to have realistic expectations. If you're completely bald and you've got a really bad donor area, which is the sides and the back at the top, you're not going to cover your whole hair. So I mean, if they did decide to do it, the best they can probably do is give you a hairline, because they start at the front and then work back, so you're probably still going to have a balding patch at the back. When I had mine done, you know, they said they could do the hairline, which is great, and they worked back and they sort of used what was left on the back, on the crown. I knew that I'd probably have to have a second one, and even now I don't have to, because if I have the hair long, it kind of covers it, but I might not always want my hair this long, and I'm going to cut it soon anyway, so I want to see what it looks like, and if I can have a nice top up. So if I have my hair short, it will still look good. How many days before or after the operation should you fly? So I fly out the day before. This time I'm getting my hair done on Good Friday, so I'm flying out on the Thursday. So I'm flying from London Heathrow, fly out to Turkey. The next day I'll have the hair transplant. The following day I will have the hair wash. The doctor sort of gives you like an aftercare, checks your hair and everything, makes sure it's all fine. Day after that, on my first one, I flew home because I was there 2 nights. This time I'm going to be there 3 nights, so I'll fly home on the Sunday. So say you want to do some sightseeing, maybe fly out there a week before, do your sightseeing, then have the operation at the end. That would be how I'd do it if I was going sightseeing out there. Does it hurt? This is the big question that I get asked all the time. The only thing that different people perceive pain in different ways. I felt it was nowhere near as bad as what I had imagined, and I actually, this sounds weird, but I quite enjoyed it. Once I'd got it done, I thought, wow, was that it? You know, it's really was not as bad as I thought. The thing that people get frightened of is the needles, the anaesthetic. So I had it's called painless, but you still feel the pain. It cuts it down by about 60 to 70%. So it's like a gun that they put around there, and it basically shoots, it sort of numbs it, then they put the needle in. So you still get the needles, but they kind of numbing the area first. So the only thing I would say is the first one is, it's not pain, it's more of a sting, and it kind of numbs the area and it spreads. So then when they put the next one in, you can't feel it quite as much, and so on like that and then when it's numb, you can't feel a thing. So you just sit there. I even fell asleep in the afternoon. That's, you know. The other thing I always say to people, if it hurt that much, would we be going back for a second one? No. I'm going back for a second one. You know, I'm not exactly the most tolerant with pain. I had a tooth out recently, that hurt way more than the hair transplant, so that's, for me, the hair transplant didn't hurt. The weeks after, it gets, the feeling starts coming back from the numbness, and it doesn't hurt, it's just more of it felt more like the skin's being stretched, like a tightness, that's how I'd describe it. How is a natural hairline obtained? That also raises lots of questions. I'm really happy with my hairline. I feel it's actually better than when I was a kid, before I'd started balding at all, because mine's always kind of receded a bit either side there, and it just, you know, I feel it's better now than what it's ever been. I basically just allowed the doctor to decide for me what was best for me, and he drew it, and he was happy with it, and I'm happy with it. I would say, like I said before, don't try and go down too low. Don't try and be a teenager if you're in your 40s. You know, it looks weird. It doesn't. Some people are obsessed with having it low. They just, you know, and it takes a lot of grafts to get your hair lower. So you'll be using those grafts, which you can't use in other places then. That's another thing. A lot of people still don't sort of understand. They are taking grafts out, planting them on top. Once they're taken, they've gone. They don't regrow back. Okay, so you only get a set amount of grafts. Once they're gone and used, that's it. But yeah, some people like a dead straight hairline. Some people like that look. I personally wanted it slightly jagged, and for me that looks more natural. I'm happy with mine. You're always going to get people that critique hairlines, but it's you at the end of the day that's paying for it. It's you that has to look at it day in, day out. As long as you're happy with it, that's all that matters. Alright, what's the next question? What do they do having healthy hair roots? Some of these questions, like I said, I will find out more when I have my op. But yeah, they want to plant the grafts in the correct direction so that when they grow, you don't want them stuck up at 90 degrees because it will just be like that. You want them kind of like the same direction as your natural hairline. So this question as well, I get asked, why is one person has great results, whereas another person exactly the same has different results from the same clinic. Each person is different ages, different. One person could take medication for something, another couldn't. One might have a deficiency in something, one might not. You know, people have completely different lifestyles, whether they smoke, drink, everything. You know, just their how they are. Basically, your age can affect a lot of things. So because one person has a hair transplant and another person has exactly the same hair transplant, same process, same procedure, everything, doesn't mean you're going to get identical results to somebody else. Okay, so that's very important, because a lot of people say, oh, I saw so and so have his hair. I saw, just because someone has doesn't mean that you're going to get exactly the same results. It's also how good the clinic is, the technicians, the doctor. Even if you have exactly the same though, you take the same pills, same vitamins, everything, you might not get exactly the same result as somebody else. How many hours does a surgery take? So I can only go on what I've had last time. I got picked up from the hotel at 7:30 in the morning, just after 7:30, and I finished my hair up. I got back into the taxi back to the hotel about 5 p.m. I think. So yeah, I was there for quite a long time. The first hour, I would say, was taken up speaking to Dr Cinik, having my hair shaved, having the blood tests, having the hairline drawn on, photos. So your first hour is taken up using that, and obviously paying for the operation, you do that. And then the actual operation, I'd say, started probably around about 9 o'clock, and then it went on till, like I say, just before 5. Then the taxi picked me up to take me back to the hotel. And actually my girlfriend walked straight past me in the hotel, she didn't recognise me. Right, yeah, that's another thing. Do you go on your own? You can take someone, you can take a mate, or if you've got a mate who wants to get their hair done at the same time, maybe ask if you can get a bit of money off, if you want to share the hotel room with one of your mates or whatever. I took my girlfriend last time because we both love travelling. She just wanted to come out, see Istanbul, and she stayed in the hotel and used the gym and the pool and stuff. We had to pay a little bit extra for her breakfast last time. But apart from that, it's basically just the flights. It's the extra you pay for, because you've pretty much already paid for the room when you book your hair transplant. Right, what are the next steps after the hair transplant? You'll get a list. You'll get like a sheet telling you what to do. Stick with what your doctor tells you. That's very important. There's so many people who think they're doctors, or armchair doctors we call them. Stick with what your doctor tells you. Each clinic's might be slightly different, they might do things in slightly different order, but where I went we had like a sheet telling you what to do basically, and they've also made a lot of videos on how to wash your hair, but they show you that. So the second day you can have your hair washed. Last time I didn't actually have my hair washed there. I had my aftercare check and Dr Cinik checked my hair. And then I actually did the first one on my own when I got back to England. And it's a little nerve-wracking when you first do it, but because you don't know if you're massaging the hair too much or too little, but you get used to it. And there are videos that the clinic have actually made to help with this. They give you a list of the medication, because you'll get like different pills for different things. Antibiotics, I think some of them are. They'll be in Turkish, but they have it sort of translated into English, so you know, and they'll put the days, which sort of day you take this and that. And I also had beard grafts removed from under my chin. They give you this cream to put on, but my beard under there where they take the grafts, that healed so quickly. It was literally overnight. They give you like bandages on there. Like I said, the beard one healed overnight, so I just took, it's like a thing that goes over your ears, like a mask kind of thing, so I took that off. In the aftercare appointment they took the other bandages off, and yeah, it was fine. What to see in Istanbul? Best food and restaurants, views and iconic places. That's an interesting one. If you've been to anywhere, any great restaurants, please leave a comment below. When I was out there last, because it was a short trip, the breakfast was included in the hotel, so I had breakfast there. And in the evening I was quite tired after my operation, so I just had something to eat in the hotel restaurant. They were fine with you going in with your hair done. They didn't mind at all. I know a lot of people get room service, so that's another option. But yeah, there's some great places to visit in Istanbul. Maybe this time I might actually be able to get out and see some of Istanbul, so that'd be cool if I can. But like I said, leave a comment if you've got any places that you recommend, any restaurants that are good. And that's another thing, people have asked about street food in Istanbul. Like I said, last time I didn't get to experience any of this, so maybe this time I will. What is a good place to get street food? Is there any place in particular? What sort of street food is it? I remember I had a kebab. It wasn't sort of your typical kebab van kebab like we get in England. It was quite posh in the hotel restaurant, and the food out there was a lot cheaper than what it is in the UK, so that's a great point. I get asked a lot, how much money do you take? I didn't take any cash, I just used my travel credit card. Be careful with your credit cards, because they will charge you a foreign transaction fee if you use your card abroad. Mine, I've got a special travel one which doesn't charge you to use it abroad, and it gives you good rates, like exchange rates, so you know, check that out before you go. You want to get that sorted before you go. But I didn't take any cash myself. I guess for things like street food you probably would need cash, so I'll look into that when I go. But that's about it for now. I'm going to, like I said, cut my hair before I go, so I'm going to just get my shaver. I'm going to probably do that in a few weeks. I'm away next weekend. The following weekend I'll probably cut it. I'm going to do that on video as well, so you can all watch. The following weekend I think will be when I'm out there. It's the Easter weekend. So yeah, looking forward to it. Like I said, I've got a Facebook group now, which I'll leave a link to. Feel free to join it. It's a really chill group. We don't just discuss hair, we discuss dental, health, everything. It's just a laugh really. We talk about things seriously, but it's a really chilled atmosphere. There's no, my doctor's better than yours. There's no arguing. We all just get along and try and help each other out. Alright, so that is the news. That's how far it's got to. So, and today my hair, you're probably thinking, oh, it's a bit flat, but I actually straightened it for once. Used my girlfriend's straighteners. You can see where it's shaved on the sides. But yeah, I don't normally have it down. Like if I'm out and about, I usually just have it tied back. But yeah, that is it. That is all my hair growth I'm going to have to shave soon. So if I want it back, I'm going to have to grow it all again. Hope you're all doing good, hope you're all well, and let's hope we all get great hair results. Cheers, bye.